What's up, everybody? It's Dynasty Demir, Search for Uhuru. Welcome back again. I have the brother Q, Mr. Research, on with us on today. This Monday morning here. Well, it's Monday morning where you're at too. Monday morning here in
Yes, sir.
Atlanta. Today's topic, the brother Q was dropping some jewels the other day on one of his streams, and he was saying certified game after every jewel he dropped, and I was nodding my head like that's some certified game that brothers need to hear. So this is certified corporate America game because I know a lot of brothers who are navigating corporate America, sometimes run into some obstacles. And so I worked in corporate America for about 12 years. Q has experience in corporate America. So what we want to do for the brothers who are navigating through corporate America, who aren't getting sound advice from other black men because they're just on pins and needles trying to survive and they're scared, or they feel like you're competing against them as black men. But black men, we shouldn't be competing against each other. We should be creating with each other.
Yes.
We're gonna be giving you guys some certified game, and today's topic is really in regards to human resources. Now, brothers, what you have to understand in corporate America, sometimes your counterparts will weaponize human resources against you. I've had it happen to me early in my corporate America career. They will weaponize human resources. I've had a couple run-ins. It was just petty BS that didn't stick, but it was just shocking how, just because you have a certain protocol that has to be followed when dealing with corporate America, how you got to go through the dog and pony show, and it can be embarrassing. The questions they ask you, and even the reasons why they'll call you into the corporate. The human resources director and manager. Just some of the petty stuff they could call you into the office for when you're just trying to do your damn job. I've had human resources called on me because I ate too many donuts. I'm dead serious. When I worked for my job at Cintas, when I first started, you know me, I'm greedy. So there was a box of donuts. I saw it. The donuts was for the team. Nigga, I got me a donut. They call human resources on me for eating a donut.
Wow.
Donuts when I first started. Having fun and having to, I don't know if you ever did sales, Q. Did you ever do sales?
Yes, I did corporate sales for a major phone carrier.
Okay. So yeah, we have our own little sales office, our own little sales pit, kind of separate from everybody. We're just the sales team. We make our phone calls, we have fun, and we joke around. I guess somebody got offended with me joking around and having fun, so they call human resources on me for being too comfortable, for kicking my feet up on the desk, doing what in between my calls. So again, they will weaponize human resources against you. Another time they weaponized human resources against me when I was working for my company. I worked for Cintas Corporation. So me and my manager, his name is Damon Cassell, right? We were out on a sales call. And so, after we did our presentation, the owner of the company offered us some snacks. I was like, okay, I'll take one. Go ahead.
Give me 2 minutes. I got to move the car, so just keep talking. I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah. So, so I'm like, okay, all right, yeah. He offered us some snacks, because I was taught, never turn down if the owner if an owner or a boss or whoever you're meeting with offers you some food, you never turn it down. That's what I was taught. So I took a snack. That goddamn Damon Cassell went and told human resources on me that I ate the snack. So I got called into the office. So you have to understand, black men, how they will weaponize human resources against you in corporate America. But you know what? I ended up 2-3 years later finishing number one in the company in sales. I ended up balling out, making a lot of money, using that money to fund my trips to Africa and invest in Africa. So at the end of the day, I ended up coming out on top and winning. Bought my home, was the number one sales rep in the country. So yeah, I ended up winning at the end of the day. So
Well, let me give you a peace of mind.
Go ahead.
So, matter of fact, I think it's best to.
So, hey, Q, somebody said corporate Kathy.
Yeah, and look, for real though. But you know, corporate Kathy a lot of time looks like us.
Q, so what? Not to cut you off. Yeah, but Q, real quick. So what they're doing now with HR, and me personally, I haven't had any issues with the sisters who work HR now. But I know some brothers who said they've had. But me personally, because you're right. So I know at our company now, the HR directors and a lot of the human resources managers, they're black now. They're black women. But I haven't had any issues.
Right. Yet.
Well, I'm out of corporate America now, so.
Okay, that's what's up.
Yeah.
All right, so I think it's better to start with the trade people, because a lot of times the brothers think that, man, don't even mess with corporate, go get a trade. Okay, here's what you don't understand, or a lot of dudes don't understand about trade. If it was easy to get, sometimes trades are about what state you live in and how desperate the people are for your services. If you're heating and air and you live in Arizona, you're going to clean up.
Right.
You live in Michigan, you're going to do well. You live in Kansas, maybe not so much. Indiana, maybe not so much. So a lot of dudes is, they throw out this false information of go get a trade. I hear you, but a trade is always a contract unless you own the company. A contract unless so you're going to somebody hoping that they pull you in based on who you are, what you've done, unless you're in one of these good states. So here's how the HR thing works for people who got trades. A lot of times those foremen are hiring their people, whoever their people are. If it's an Irish dude, he's looking out for Irish people. If it's a Scottish dude, Russian dude, if it's a Latin dude, he's looking out for Latin people. Now, you as a black dude, you may think this is wrong, but this is where power comes into play. And while on my channel, I talk a lot about power and how you defeat supremacy. My little wolf thing is black men have to hire black men.
Right.
Once you start making your bread, hire some other black men. I got a online clerical company. I hire dudes from Africa. I hire a couple of females from Africa, but I try to hire dudes. If you gotta hire dudes, this is how we circulate the money within us, and how he's able to give money to his son, and the cycle continues. So here's my thing about the trades. You're going to the foreman who many times does not look like you. And you're not going to the foreman said me and four other air heating and air guys are able to do this whole job. You're going to that guy hoping you could be working with the Mexican brothers, hoping you work with the Irish brothers. And what a lot of times is, because black men, we don't come as a conglomerate of power. I was out in Atlanta when Shirley Franklin was there, and I did a speaking engagement with some of the plumbers and pipe fitters and what have you, because they was working on that airport out there, right?
Right.
And they were complaining about how the blacks in government was shutting them out for the mayonnaise man. And I said, well, if all of you 23 black guys got together as a company and presented your proposal as one company, then you'll be able to get on this bid. But you got to understand, these Mayo dudes, they over here, they come and saying they're gonna guarantee 500 workers, and a couple of them might be black. The rest of them might be Mexican. You got to understand, as black dudes, you can't keep going individual. So I say all that to say this: when it comes to human resources for the trade people, they have to understand that their contract, and they're many times trying to appease these other ethnicities and other cultures that are not black. The solution to that, Dinas, is to get together as a conglomerate of trade guys, and you form your own mini union, and you go in these bids as a strong collective force. How the thing you said about the office stuff, like I had to deal with, you get some of our ladies who they go out of their way to be perfect when they see us.
Right.
When they see us, they try to say, okay, we need everything perfect. But the blue-eyed guy comes in, he ain't got half of what you got. Like I got 5 certifications.
Right.
I've been in corporate for 18 years. He ain't got half of what you got. They just give him a ride in. And then you question, like, so what was that about? Oh, that came from higher up. They said, and see, higher up is taking care of their people.
Right. Let's see what we got here in the chat. Shout out to O'Shea. Shout out to and there's an echo.
Oh, that's me. Hold on.
Okay.
Go ahead, brother.
Okay. Yeah, we're good. Shout out to everybody in the chat room. Shout out to the Eritrean dude for the super chat. Shout out to O'Shea for the super chat. So, brother, as far as the human resources issue, how do Black men properly navigate that? Somebody mentioned something as far as the Black man becoming the whistleblower.
The who?
Whistleblower.
What the women?
No, whistleblower. Like the one just making sure that you document everything, no matter what it is.
Let's start from the first part of your question. What can Black dudes do as a solution? First of all, your resume needs to be outstanding. As many certifications as you can get on your resume, and certifications have to do with you going out and finding out what your industry needs. Let me give you an example. If you're a warehouse worker, like I used to be when I was 19, I went out and got a international shipping clerk certification.
Right. That
I paid $100 for. $100 meant a lot to me back then, but I paid that, and that doubled my salary. Now that's different from just a regular shipping clerk, because international, you got to know how to do the wrappings and stuff for the boats and the seawater. You got to know how to do the paperwork for Canada and France. Then I went and I got a forklift certification, but I didn't get a forklift certification like everybody else. I went to OSHA, and I paid about $1,000 for that one. And people were like, and I would have white people say, OSHA don't give out certification. Well, goddamn, you must be all to the good. And they would just shoot me in. It's like they didn't care about anything else. If I had that OSHA stuff got me in so well, because I went and got something that even the mayonnaise man didn't know about. So that's another way that you do it. The third way to bypass HR, you really got to bypass the whole human resources department if you can. Try to get that excellent resume direct to the manager, even if they're not hiring.
Certified game. Repeat that again.
Try to get your resume directly to the manager, bypass HR. Sometimes you don't even have to fill out that online application. Go direct to that manager, to that department, put it in the envelope with their name on it. Find out who the manager of this spot is. Who's running things over here? Put that resume, drop it off at the desk. That lady's not going to open it. She don't know what's in it. She just knows it's directed to her boss. And this is the part where I said, make your resume more outstanding than everybody else's resume. Your resume can't. Say it again.
I was going to say in corporate America, we call it make yourself the obvious choice.
Oh, there you go. Speak on that, sir.
Yeah, I mean, you have to set yourself apart from everyone else. So you have to make yourself the obvious choice. In fact, I'll tell you what I did. So when I interviewed for my job at Cintas, when it was time for me to meet with some of the higher ups, the senior management, I brought in my cold. You know, I do a lot of cold calling, so I brought in my cold calling my shoes with holes at the bottom of them, and I said, "This proves that I'm not afraid to work in cold call." And I showed them the shoes with the holes at the bottom of it, and they were like, "Wow!" And that impressed them. But at the same time, too, another thing as far as how to, I guess, get around HR, even though you're not going to, but once you have the buy-in of upper management, HR really doesn't matter unless you have some type of felony or DUI on your record, depending what job you're trying to get. Go through a recruiter as well. That's important as well, as far as going through recruiters, as far as if you're looking for a job and having somebody vouch for you.
Next door.
HR really doesn't matter unless you have.
I just talked to them.
You talk to him.
You there, bro?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Major Pain, shout out for the super chat. Here we go. The problem is that black men are afraid to be black. I'm not about that black stuff, or I don't want to be seen as a black business. We run from blackness. What are your thoughts on that, Mr. Research? Which is true. I've seen especially in corporate America. The problem is that the black men are afraid to be black. I'm not about that black stuff, or I don't want to be seen as a black business. We run from blackness. That's true.
Okay, yeah. So here's where a lot of that comes from. A lot of dudes, and let me talk about the ladies too, because I had a situation with an African woman who told me she don't see color. So I'm going to answer his question by talking about the African lady. So the African lady, she had applied to a lead position, and she really didn't know the position well better than the Chinese lady. Right. Matter of fact, the whole office is Chinese. This guy created a new system out of thin blue air, convinced the mayonnaise people to pay for it, and then he went out and found his people, Filipinos and anybody Chinese and Japanese, to put in those seats. And he's been rocking this system for, I think they told me they started in 2010. Right? Mm-hmm. Now, all he did, and you know this as a business man yourself, Dynas, all he did was find a loophole in the game, went and developed a system at home, and went and did a 3-second sale to the mayonnaise man. And they said, wow, well, if you can save us time, then let's do it. Gave him a whole department to himself, and he's a big wig, right?
Right.
This is what I wish black dudes would understand. Stop following women. Stop following women to the point where you're not benefiting as a dude. Now, I'm not trying to separate men and women. I'm just saying that a lot of the frustration guys have is because they don't understand. So this goes to this question about black men. Black men, many a times, in the same situation as this African woman, they're afraid to be black because they don't have black support up top or below. Let me say it again.
Go ahead.
Black men, many a times, are afraid because they don't have support up top or below. The only reason I'm black first, and I put my neck on the line for other black men, is because I have power through my resume. I am super certified in a lot of stuff. And when people see my resume, virtually everybody says, wow. So that's how I get credit. But a lot of times, a guy who doesn't have that situation, he just may be a manager, or he just may have the position, but he's not kind of respected for his knowledge. I guess it comes down to a lot of guys don't have a knowledge base like they think they do. I had counseled one guy at Best Buy who he had did all this for the company, and then when the company finished using him, he was just shot to the left. And I said, well,
that's common. That's common. I have a same situation with a brother of mine at my former company.
Right. But see, the the thing is, you should never think that you've made it. Kind of like what you said. Your power has always been you can leave and create your own lane.
Right.
A lot of cats don't think that. And so when guys are afraid to be black, it's a lot of dudes don't think they can create their own lane without the work. Even when they work in a trade, some dudes, you know, they a plumber and whatever, and then they move somewhere where plumbing ain't in demand. They want to shoot their brains out because you know they're like, oh, I was just relying on the plumbing. I'm used to making 100,000, and okay, you're making 20 now because you're in Cataloosa. You know what I'm saying? So that's just how it works. But the solution on that is you got to go to some of these black men who are afraid to be black, and you don't have to hit them with the brother stuff, but you just got to hit them on a professional. Hey, let me know if you need anything extra. I got your back. Right. Simply that. Reach out to you because as a manager, I just want to be able to trust you. I want to be able to go to sleep knowing that I ain't gonna get no strange phone calls.
Right.
So that's how I would address that.
And the issue I have with the, I guess, in order to do business, you have to sacrifice your blackness in corporate America or just in general. Is I tell people this all the time. This is still a little bit of an extra look you. When I was in corporate America in LA, when I went to Koreatown, the Koreans were unapologetically Korean. They did business amongst each other, so to everybody else. When I was I would go. I know. Are you familiar with LA, Q? Q. Okay, I guess he stepped out. So people who are familiar with LA, in Koreatown, Koreans are unapologetically Korean and did business amongst each other. When you go to the Jewish area in between Pico, on I would say that's Fairfax, on Pico in between Fairfax and Beverly, the Jews were unapologetically Jewish and did business amongst each other. You go to Alvarado, all right, and also East LA, Hispanics, Mexicans were unapologetically Hispanic or unapologetically Mexican and did business amongst each other. That's how all these groups operated. But for some reason, black people have been sold this idea that you cannot be unapologetically black and do business. Like it doesn't go hand in hand. But all these other groups are taught that you can. So I don't know. That's just something I realized doing business in LA. Did you get that, Q?
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Did you step away?
Yeah, I had somebody was asking me something. I apologize.
Okay, no, but okay, so what I was saying, the whole idea that you have to sacrifice your blackness in order to do business here in America. When I lived in LA, the Koreans were unapologetically Korean and did business.
Oh, yeah.
Same thing with the Jews, Hispanics, everybody else. For some reason, black people are sold this idea that you cannot be unapologetically black and do business. Like it doesn't go hand in hand.
Well, again, here's what you just said, and I say it on my page all the time. Those are cultures, and even if they fail, they know they can go back to their culture and get pulled in. Mm-hmm. See, a Korean, a Chinese, Russian, if you fail, you just go to your local Russian community center.
Right.
Somebody's going to pull you in somewhere, even if it isn't the job you normally do. If you're Irish and you screw up, all you got to do is go to your local Irish pub or Irish deli. Man, I'm having a hard time, man. What you talking about, McCracky? Well, you know, I got a sister works down at the government. Maybe she can get you something. That's what they do.
Right.
And this is why I say we waste time talking about dating. We waste time talking about sex and we got to think about power. And the only way to think about power is pull each other up. I should be able to come to you. Hey, Dynas, man, things ain't going well. Well, I know a brother who knows a brother that works at Atlanta Medical.
Right.
if I can at least get you a sit down interview. You got an amazing resume, and that's where it all starts. It starts with the dudes who sometimes don't have the credentials on their resume, which is why they're not doing so well. You know what? Let me tell you about this African lady because it is relevant, and I don't want to saturate all your time.
We're gonna call her African. She's an African.
Okay, she's a new black
African.
So the problem I have with new black people who were born after Reagan or people who came to the country after Reagan, they didn't get to see that there was a lot of black businesses we had. There was a lot of black unity before Reagan. George Bush, the father, tried to fix it with the Civil Rights Act and all this type of stuff of 91, but Reagan did so much damage. And what ended up happening is I was at a job. This lady, she was a lead, but she really didn't know the job well. She was kind of learning. And so I already have a lot of knowledge in other departments. And I'm saying to her, how do you guys want to do this? Because I can do it my way. But what's your system of output? They didn't have one, Dynast. It was kind of like everybody was kind of doing their own thing, but the one Chinese girl was training. And then they kept hitting me with, oh, don't worry about it. You just learn at your own pace. Okay. So now get this, Dynast.
Go ahead.
They hit me with 18 different websites. So here's what they did. Normally we call to get authorizations in medical, but they found the way through technology that they'll get some third party to just upload the determinations. So they'll go to these websites and do these things, right? So my first day there, they give me 18 websites. And then this African lady, did you get the websites? Did you go, no, I didn't get the websites. Did they send it to my Yahoo mail? Oh, you don't have your employee mail yet? No. Now, you thinking like I'm thinking, Dynast. You're my lead. You're supposed to make sure I got that.
Right.
I have to figure that out. So by the third day, they give me my mail. All this stuff floods in. So I got 18 of these things, and then toward the end of the week, did you register for all those sites? Well, I didn't know I had to register for the sites. You didn't communicate that to me. And I'm trying not to be an asshole, but you're assuming a lot of stuff, right? Case in point, by my third week there, come to find out all those sites that I've been working on are not even pertinent to my job. Only 2 of them are. So I had to have a conversation with this African lady. I said, ma'am, you seem to be getting upset easily when I ask you a question. I'm new here. I'm just trying to learn how you guys do your system. And here's what she said to me. I never forget. Well, I don't believe in that black stuff.
What?
I don't believe in that black stuff. I treat everybody equally. Now, mind you, the whole department is run by Chinese.
Right. The whole department.
Maybe that's part of her thing. Okay. And she said, I blah, blah, blah. And I'm listening to her. She says, and I have brothers. I know black men go through certain things. And I said, well, just like if your brother was here and somebody's making these assumptions, that's putting pressure on us, And she said, I just was in a training about over assuming things as a leader. And in my mind, I'm like, and you're not learning shit from the training.
You should have told her that. You told her that.
But case in point, I leave from her. I go get with another black lady. Let me ask you a
question. Was she Nigerian?
I don't know what country she was from.
Igbo. Was she Igbo?
I don't know what country she was from.
Go ahead.
But she was serious. So she's gone, and then I sit with another black girl who is cock shit scared. I mean, she's like, I mean, it's like three girls that gossip and talk shit, but the Chinese get on them like constantly. You know, like y'all ain't up to par, even though they got the highest numbers there, right? So I'm a black dude first. I'll leave this shit and be okay. You know, I'm not gonna be doing this shit like y'all doing it. And she gave me my additional training. Then it all made sense because the African lady really wasn't putting me up on game, and the Chinese lady really shouldn't have been training me because she got stuff to do. So I say all that to say this. When the African lady came back a week later, it's my 4th week, this chick calls me to review my work. Now, on that day, I was training with the other lady that she don't know about, and we had a meeting for 2 hours. So we only got 2 hours of work done, really, me. She tried to check me on that work. Well, it seems like you only did 6 things. And I said, yeah, because I did this and I did that. And that's probably why. I said, but the numbers prior to it was fine. And I should be able to get the numbers blah, blah, blah today. This chick goes and uses that to tell the Chinese lady that I'm not going to work out, that I don't understand the system.
Oh, wow.
The system she wasn't able to explain. Now, I'm saying this for the brothers to understand how these levels of game work. Now, it don't just happen in corporate. It happens in blue collar. It happens in lower level. You know, so we got to understand as guys that when we come into any of these job situations, protect yourself, don't talk so much, and observe. But in my case, even if you get fired, your resume is so outstanding that somebody calling me next week.
Right. Now you said protect yourself. You said don't protect yourself and don't talk too much. Do you have friends? Is there such a thing as having friends at work?
Friends at work. This ain't Facebook. This is where you get your money so you can do greater things. That's all this is. Once you start, this is a Me Too environment, Dynasty.
I would say that. Let me say this. Me personally, I've actually formed some very good relationships via corporate America. I have. I would say
you can. You can, but it's because you have a level of conversation like I have a level of conversation.
Right.
But everybody don't have that level. You know, there's this famous scene at on that Insecure show where the girl is coming in and the black girl trying to tell her, you know, I'm from the hood too, but you know, you might want to tone it down. And the hood girl is like, well, the white people ain't telling me to tone it down.
Oh God.
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have to put that on my channel, but she ignores the advice of the black person who has modified their situation for the work environment, and then she continues to do her girl to the Mayo people, and then they end up, and then by the end of the episode, she's being let go. So this is how if you're able to hold a conversation, switch your hood on and off for the sake of this money. Like I get paid pretty good every week. Plus I got a third stream of income. It's different for me, but I'm from the hood. I'm from Acorn. You know, so it's different for me. But a lot of people, if you don't have that talent, fall back and make your money. And when they ask you to do overtime, you know, I'm not available really, you know, because most people get fired doing overtime for the company. You know, just
you got to go into detail. I've always been salary, so you have to go into detail on that.
Well, I've been salary too, but anytime you go outside of your 8 hours for the sake of the company, it's not always a good look for you because you're tired, your body's tired, and you're still under company rules. So if you screw up, you're going to get fired just like everybody else. But a lot of times you're doing that for the company. Sometimes it's better for you to just go get a second job for a couple of months or get a PRN, which is an on-call. Sometimes you don't need that extra money at your job because if you screw up, it falls under you. And so now You just not just screwed up all your money. You know what I'm saying? So I just advise people not to do it, you know, just to really try to bypass that part of the game. We got any other questions?
Let's see what we got here in the chat room. Shout out to Straight Shooter, Willie Beeman. What's good, family? Shout out to Robert Morris for the super chats. Someone says hood chicks are the biggest enemy at work. Well, yeah, if you work at a call center where hood chicks are, yeah.
Security
and call centers, yeah, of course.
Yeah. If you work where the hood chicks are and you identify that they hood chicks, then keep your mouth closed. I mean, because you don't have to hit the tennis ball back on the other side of the net. You know, a lot of times dudes have a problem understanding. Don't hate these women so much. Focus on your bread.
Right.
You there to get your bread, not to take chicks home. You there to get your bread, not to be hee and ha with chicks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, that's just what it is. You look at a lot of situations where when a woman is doing bad, and I'm not saying women are bad, they're just recognized game, she'll turn around and try to use the white woman against you to screw you over. It's just what she does. Now, some ladies will see this, like I've had some great black women will recognize game and check a chick for that anti-black behavior. Just like we dudes check some dudes for that anti-black behavior. So it does happen, but I think the biggest thing is people who just moved to the country. You haven't got a wake-up call yet, and you think everything is fair. It's not like that. You know, somebody said that they're in human resources. Well, the person who's in human resources, I'll say this to you. Other people who are not black are looking out for their people.
Exactly.
Are you doing that in human resources, Adwa? That's what I would say.
Otto, that's a yes or no question, Otto. We need to know. But like I said, when I was in in corporate America, I didn't have any issues from sisters in human resources. But I've heard some horror stories. But me personally, I had no issues.
I mean, I've had some crazy ones. Like I said, you know, I was in sales. So in sales, you get away with a lot of stuff because as long as your numbers are pumping, I can come in late.
Repeat that again, because I got away with a lot. After my numbers started pumping, you know.
Yeah, I mean, in sales, you get away with a whole lot. Like I was the first out of the store salesman. I came in $10 an hour. I was working over by Ponce de Leon, and I was working at a store, $10 an hour, and I was working with 3 or 4 other people making $10 an hour. And when somebody comes in to do a phone, and we had all the carriers, every last one of them. When somebody come and do a phone, we able to sell them a phone, and the base pay on selling a phone was $30 or something, and then we can get an extra 10 for insurance. So we could possibly do a $50 phone just for us, right? But if they bring the phone back, then that $50 comes out of our next check. You know how sales works, right?
Right.
And so I said to my boss, you know what? Because I'm a hustler, man. I'm a street dude. So I said, you know what, man? I looked at these phones like vials of crack cocaine. I said, I can get out here in the streets and make more money than sitting at this store. And my boss, he was trying to please his mayonnaise boss, and he was like, oh, well, I don't know if we're going to do that, blah, blah, blah. And he kept hitting me with that. And one day, the regional director came, Dynas, and I put that Barry White song in his ear. I said,
what'd you say?
I can get out there and make way more money. He said, well, we've never had one of those. But you know what? I like your initiative. You got my permission. Here's the number to my secretary at corporate. And once I chopped it up with her, and this is what I said earlier, we as black men got to find loopholes in the game. When I sat up here and contacted with her, I found out so many plans and so many hookups. So my first contract, I went up the street from the store to a black brother who had a furniture thing he was doing out of like a garage flea market type of place. It wasn't even tight to death. It was like some bull.
Right.
But he needed to contact his drivers and his delivery people. Nextel had a plan. You get 2 phones for a one, right? Back at that time, Verizon wasn't even a company yet. Back at that time, a lot of people couldn't get cell phones because of their credit, right?
Mm-hmm.
But because I got this direct corporate connect, I can bypass all that by writing people up as a company. So I write him up as a company. His credit is good under his business, his business SSN, and then everybody else can get a phone. And if they screw it up, it's not screwed up on the company account, it's screwed up individually. But here's where I got him, Dinus. I said, yeah, so I'm going to be able to get you this phone. It's going to be like $100 a phone. Now, I recognize the phones were free. You don't know that. This ain't just my sales. This is my sales period because I'm out here. Then I would hit people. Once I realized I can write up contracts like that, I said, and it's all legal. Ain't nothing I'm doing shady because technically they're not supposed to be able to get a phone. You feel me? Mm-hmm. So I'm not doing nothing shady. I'm doing everything legal. I'm just the paperwork pusher that understands the game. Man, I was making $1,500 a week doing that.
Wow.
And once word got around, I started making little paper ditto business cards, just passing them around to people. I go to hospitals and parking lots, just passing my thing around. Hey, I can get you a phone. Don't worry about your credit. And people would come to me, man, nobody would give me phone. Hey, man, look, give me $200 for the phone, give me $50 for the account, and you good. People, I was making a killing, man, until Metro came around and killed everything.
Yeah, Metro. the trap, we call it the dope boy phone. The dope boy phone. In Atlanta, dope boys are getting new phones every day.
Right.
Every day, dope boy was getting a new phone.
And I think the whole thing I wanted to do this with you, and hopefully we'll do more. Of
course.
But I want Black dudes to understand what the solutions at chipping away at supremacy is, and I want our African people to understand that we're not the enemy and we're not arrogant. You got to work with us because there's levels of our lives that you don't understand, and just like you were saying with Phil and Doctor, and then there's levels of your life we don't understand, and we gotta get off this thing of divisiveness. We got to get off of that, and dudes especially, we got to get to a solution-based mindset because we dudes are supposed to be logical. We are not supposed to be emotional, and you just got too many dudes being emotional. What were you going to say, Dinus?
No, I was agreeing with you. I was agreeing with you.
Just
comments.
Yeah, and you know that's the level of the game I want people to understand, man. All I did was take that street knowledge because I bypassed prison. You know what I'm saying? I was smart enough to know not to hang on the block.
Me too.
I was smart enough.
I bypassed prison as well.
Right. Right. And you got to understand anybody that got caught up, you got caught up because you fell in love with the game.
Right.
You ain't supposed to fall in love with the game. You ain't supposed to fall in love with your job. Even if you are an HR person, HR manager, you should be looking at trying to stack your money and then take that 10 G's and invested it in somebody's Blimpie store so they could send you a check every 4 months.
I wouldn't do Blimpies. I would do maybe Jersey Mike's or what's the other one? Quiznos Subway's a dying brand. Jersey Mike's and Firehouse. Those are the two hot ones.
There we go. There we go. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we would do because a lot of times people need that extra loan money and they don't want to go through a bank. But if they contact Lumani, or they contact George Macon, or they contact whoever, and you give them that extra 10, 15 G's with a business contract that you wrote up, Now they're sending you a little profit every 4 months.
Right.
And you help it. Building blackness is about financially reinvesting. It's not about doing these long 8-hour, 9-hour hangouts where we talk about the same thing we've been talking about since 2012.
Right.
You know, it's about dominating. And one other point before we go to the other thing, HR, get around HR by going directly to these managers. Stop waiting for a job to be posted. Go down to where you want to be making money at and put your resume in the hand of people. Even if they can't mess with you, what they're going to do is circulate it to somebody who needs you.
True. Certified game.
Certified
game. Shout out to George Macon in the chat room, brother. I have to connect with you. Let's see what else we got here in the chat room. But brother, it's always a pleasure. You know, we got to get together at least once a week.
Man, let's do that. You know, it's things have really calmed down for me, man, since I've been taking all these vacations.
Okay.
And I did my last vacation, like I showed people Miami, the condo in Miami I had. And I now it's time for me to go into 2019. Man, I got about 7 books I got to read for my medical career.
Okay.
So I'm trying to make sure I'm soaked up for that level of the game, because I want to try to attack some prime positions. Because I'm never happy with my position, man. I'm always looking for more money.
You should never be content. Never should be satisfied. Never.
Always looking for more money, man.
There you go.
Did anybody have chat room questions before we?
Anybody in the chat room, please. We got this brother on the line. Please ask a question.
Well, let me say one thing to a Joey T who talked about tech, because my night job is in tech. We're working on AI. So here's the problem with tech. Tech is just a glorified temp job. Let me say it again. Tech is just a glorified temp job. For example, there's no such thing as driverless cars. There's no such thing.
Hold on, I got to challenge you on that one, Q. Now,
okay, go ahead.
On my job, I went to a distribution center, right? Pretty large distribution center in Noonan, Georgia. They had the driverless forklifts.
Yeah. You know why?
Why?
The ground. So let me explain what the driverless forklifts are, because that was the last time I worked. They were coming out as I was leaving the warehouse industry a long time ago when I was 19. What those little lines that you see on the ground,
right?
That's for the light to hit. Anything driverless is mathematical. When you throw something abstract at a algebraic expression, it throws it off, and that's why we have fractions. Anything drivers like the driverless forklifts, they have to have that light on the ground because they use light technology. They have to have that light on the ground to guide the forklift up and down these aisles. But that forklift can't go sideways. It can't. There's a lot of things it cannot do. Okay. And you cannot be in that aisle when that driverless forklift is operating because it doesn't recognize you. It's only going off the ground. The same thing is true with these driverless cars. 4 people, I don't know if you know, 4 people got killed this year. And nobody's paying the family. Uber is dodging it and Google's dodging it.
Why are they dodging it, and how can they dodge it?
Because, again, I work 18 years in insurance. I just happen to have a second job in tech. The reason they're dodging is because, number one, Google out here in South San Francisco bought a bunch of land and developed it. So you thought you were going to a mall, right? Right. You thought you was going to a plaza or some type of company. That's Google's land. Something happens on Google's land, Google covers it. So what Google did was they had these driverless cars operating on that land. People think it's a regular street, but it's land owned by Google. And that car is operating on what appears to be, man, I don't see the car in California operating. Yeah, but you saw it on Google property. Does that make sense? It's not on public property. Anytime one of those dudes takes one of those driverless cars off of the property, the car will disengage and tell you got to drive it.
Really?
So if you go downtown San Francisco, you will see no driverless cars. And if you see a driverless car, there'll be an actual human driving it. Because tech is a myth. I've been on debate conversations with dudes in tech, and they can't answer the question of, well, if it's driverless, well, why is that? Now, here's the other reason why those 4 people died. Insurance underwriting. You know about underwriting, right?
Absolutely.
Nobody underwrites a driverless car. Insurance is built on the human driving it. So what happened when Google and Uber got into these law cases with these people died. One lady died because the lady was in a crosswalk and she was walking her bicycle and she went out the crosswalk just a little bit. Now, you and I would have saw it and we would have hit the brakes.
Right.
This driverless car didn't see it and hit her and killed her. But nobody's on the hook for her death because the law has not caught up to driverless cars. And right now, the law is not structured in a way where, hey, Uber owned the car, so therefore Uber has to pay. Am I making sense?
Right.
So they're not, the law isn't structured like that. And insurance is not structured like that. So therefore, there's no covering for it. And they still fighting it.
So will there ever be driverless cars that will leave corporate property?
I believe that unless you get insurance.
Oh, hold on. They're talking about having the driverless trucks.
Yeah, I was talking to Super Triz about that. And actually, we're gonna
your boy Elon Musk.
I'm gonna do a show with Manna tomorrow.
Okay.
And Super Triz, and I'm gonna invite you too.
Okay.
So here's how this drive, and unfortunately BGS be giving out fake information. Sometimes BGS reads stuff, but he just reading it. I mean, it's like you shouldn't put out stuff and you kind of don't understand how it works. And I'm not dissing him when I say that. It's just that I wish he would really dig into the details before he tells people stuff that ain't gonna happen. Right. So here goes the truck stuff again. Insurance. If you have a driverless truck, now I just want you to think rational. If you have a driverless truck out there on the road,
right,
and it crashes, who pays for it?
I would think the company who owns the truck.
Okay, great. I'm glad you said that.
Well, I'm saying okay, the insurance company.
No. Please don't say insurance because ain't no insurance going to cover a driverless truck. Here's why. You're paying me a premium, right? Even if you're paying me double premium, I got to guarantee this truck every time it goes out and 200 like it a day for maybe a good 4 million. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If you hit somebody, my 4 million goes to that. If this product gets damaged, if you and O'Shea get out here and start robbing these trucks because ain't nobody there.
Why we got to do the I mean, O'Shea got to be the ones robbing. Why we got to be the ones involved in
robbing the other truck. That's why y'all robbing. But no, seriously, if you're out doing that, if you're thinking like an insurance company, like I think, I'm not going to cover that for no premium. I don't make no money like that.
Right.
It's too. So the company would have to cover it. because ain't no insurance going to cover it because I'm not getting back for the risk assessment. Okay. So if the company covers it, the same problem. All I need to do is rob 1 or 2 of your trucks and you'll be damn near out of business.
Mm-hmm.
So here's what they say with the trucks. They say a person still has to be sitting there, but they not driving. Now, what sense does that make?
Doesn't make any sense. That's
so here's how they plan to do it.
That defeats the purpose of having a driverless truck.
That's my point. So it's not truly a driverless truck. But what it does is, you know how in your car you have auto it's not autopilot, but I forgot, but auto a cruise control. Right. The only thing that tech people have fooled these people on is giving everybody this term of driverless. All it is cruise control with GPS navigation. So they're going to put just like what you got in cars now, and Cadillacs got them. You're going to have the light beams. Once again, we back to the light beams, just like warehouse. They're going to have the light beams to make sure the truck stays in line, right? You're going to have about six or 8 light beams in the middle, in the back, and in the front, all right? Because trucks do sway depending on weather conditions.
Right.
So you're going to have these light beams. If any of those light beams fail, you got a problem.
Somebody said the person in the driverless truck is there for the safety of the truck. But again, that defeats the purpose of having.
No. The person there is not for the safety of the truck. The person there is for if the truck disengages, they get to stop it. That's the purpose. I'm gonna try to. You know what? As a matter of fact, I got to reach out to one of the companies and try to get a guy to speak on that creation. Just so we can give more clarity to the black people. That way you don't hear me just making the speech.
Mm-hmm.
But nevertheless, that's the option for the truck. And I think George Macon got something to do with trucks. He would probably, I know Man of Tomorrow will tell you, but there's no way you're going to insure anything like that. And if you got somebody there just to stop the truck, then it's truly, again, not a driverless car. It's a cruise control hookup with GPS and lighting situation.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not really driverless. And then also, because a lot of you guys have, I don't know how many people have actually seen a driver. You said you saw one, right?
Not a truck, but a forklift. I've seen the forklift.
Okay. Did that, well, I know the forklift didn't, but it's hard. Driverless cars do not work well in stop and go traffic because they work off a math system where everything is inches, centimeters, and they work in the construct of going from stop sign to stop sign, light to light. Mm-hmm. And you just don't have a matter of fact, every time I see a driverless car on the freeway, there's somebody actually driving it. There are no driverless cars on the freeways, and that's how I know they don't work. They don't. It's something to get money, man. They got angel investors that, you know, me and Dynas come out with something called flying golf cart.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
We're gonna get probably like 5 years of $1 million investment. The person I work for, we haven't even created AI. We've been working on it. I actually got out of development because I think AI is evil, because I don't think we humans can control it. So I just don't even want to be a part of it anymore. I work nothing but at night on the servers. I don't work in development. But my thing is this. People create stuff and then give it a title. And then here comes some people who want it to work and they willing to give you money. That's what a lot of these tech things operate on. And anybody in tech knows it. They knows that they know that if me and Dynas create Dancing Giraffe. And yeah. And then everybody on this live stream Matter of fact, man, hit the like button. Golly, fellas, really?
I'm just saying, the least you could do is hit the like button. But they're so stingy with these likes. So stingy.
Part of the game is
We're not
this.
nothing but certified games, and they still just want to be
Certified game.
Yeah, hit the
But
like.
yeah, hit the like button. But yeah, so with a tech. So if we create Dancing Giraffe, we got a lot of people coming because it's trendy. It's something new. A lot of people want to tap into it. It's kind of like YouTube. When you got a new page, everybody runs to it. After a while, people start fading away. You can have 40,000 subscribers and you know not even be doing well. That's just how YouTube is.
Right.
But we create Dancing Giraffe. If O'Shea creates Dancing Zoo and it happens to have a giraffe in it, they've just shut our company down. Now everybody we promise, hey man, I'm gonna pay you $80,000 to work on our Dancing Giraffe app. Now I gotta let these people go.
Right.
And how do I know that's true? There was been a couple of guys down at Oracle, because I'm down here where all the computer stuff is at. They were promised 80 grand. They were promised 125 grand. And 4 months in, 3 months in, something fell through. And they was told, we can't do that project because that project's got no funding or that project went out. And these dudes done locked into a year at their condo for $5 grand a month.
Right.
They in there crying, trying to get out of their contract. I got my boss. My boss, he got into tech early when he was a kid and made a lot of money, got married, and then was unemployed for like 8 years. This dude was living in New York with his wife and child at her mama's house. If tech is doing so great, why is that happening? So he got a call from Cali, and he moved him and his wife all the way out. They got an apartment, but I thought tech was supposed to be doing so great. Tech fools a lot of people, and people here, just like Zuckerberg got into trouble because he was selling stuff that, you know. But
Mr. Let me ask you this: the future of Facebook. How do you think Facebook is going to end? Is it going to be another MySpace?
It's going more, especially if the Democrats come in and get any power in Congress. It's going to get broken up because what they've done is kind of like what a lot of black YouTubers do. Not the good ones like you, but a lot of black YouTubers. Facebook has made money off of people paying. Facebook has allowed ISIS to use their shit knowingly. Knowingly. Uh-huh. That's what all this is about, and that's why even the lady that got in trouble, his vice president of communications, right. She's in trouble because they was asking her a bunch of questions. She was like, and they like, what's been going on? What's been going on? She been making side deals. She got upset at people asking her questions about why is this and why is that.
Right.
Then it came out that she was trying to stop people from getting stuff out of the system. Well, that's because they've been doing it for so long. The only thing is they got caught. So the only thing to do is either you're going to remove Zuckerberg or you're going to keep Zuckerberg, and you just got to do what you did to Microsoft back in the day. You got to break it up into 3-4 different companies. It still operates like Microsoft.
How was Microsoft broken up to 3-4 companies? How did that happen? But I mean, what companies were they broken up into?
Well, I used to work at Microsoft in, what was that, 92, 93? Out at Bellevue. Mm-hmm. And what they did is they made that was around the time that it was Vista. I believe it was Vista is what we putting out, and they had a bunch of patches. So what they did with Microsoft is they made and it was it was still Microsoft, but on paper they separated. Everything that had to do with shipping and packing was its own company. Everything that happened to do with gaming, because Doom came out at that time. I had a friend in another department working at Doom.
Back when I was a little kid.
Yeah. That was a different company. Microsoft as a software developer was a different company, and there was something else out at the time. It was like a shell company. It still operated in what we did, but they named it something else. You wouldn't even know it was Microsoft because they named it something else. It was some little company. You remember Gateway Computers?
I don't.
Okay, so Gateway Computers used to come in a box that looked like a cow, like a black and white box or what have you. And what Microsoft did, they created some version of that, but it was called something else. And so that's how they broke it up. They broke it up on paper so that you couldn't say that they were, because Microsoft was doing stuff like, if they saw you was developing something, Dynas, that could compete with them, they would rush to you and make you an offer.
Right, and make you a millionaire overnight.
Right, and if you didn't want to take that offer, they do like Russell Simmons did the Beastie Boys. They have you in litigation for 10 years.
I never knew that. I never knew that.
Yeah, well, everybody wonders why the Beastie Boys didn't make an immediate album after the Paul Revere album. That's because they wanted to go back to punk rock because they were originally a punk rock band. And Russell, and I only know this because I used to hang out with Sir Mix-a-Lot, and the white guy is his buddy. I forgot the one who was in charge of Def Jams.
Ruben.
Yeah, Ruben. So what had happened was they wanted to go back to punk rock. And Russell was like, no, you finna go make another rap album. And they said, no, we not. I said, okay, tell you what you're gonna do. You ain't gonna make no records. You ain't gonna do no tours. You ain't gonna do nothing. That's why there was a long time, I think it was like 4 years, maybe even 6, but there was a long time between the Paul Revere album and when they came out with that other album. They couldn't tour because everything was written. Russell had everything. So they couldn't perform nothing. And they went and made peace with Russell 4 years later, and that's how they was able to make I forgot the name of the album, but they came out with an album way later. But anyway, I say all that to say this: the part of the tech game is that it's all about temporary work. You are a contractor at the end of the day. You go where the money is, and if you can't do that, then you shit out of luck. And how that relates to HR, you got to understand a lot of who you are as a tech dude. You have to constantly learn stuff every 4-6 months because tech is constantly changing. And that's how we can be more powerful in these positions, is to get that knowledge, make sure that resume is shining. And that's the point I wanted to share with you today, brother. Hopefully the brothers learned something.
I think they did. Anybody have any questions in the chat room?
Questions about human resources?
Any questions in general? Of course, we want to stay on topic. Any questions? East Afro dude, thank you for joining us, brother. There's an echo on your end, brother.
Oh, sorry about that. Hold on. All right, we got it.
All right, somebody here in the chat room said the Indians and Asians got a silent mafia in tech. How do we deal with the Indian and Asian mafia in tech? That's from a black.
Okay, so here's what here's what I saw, because I told you I lived overseas for a while. When I lived overseas, I was putting up concert stage, and so I passed through Bangladesh. Okay. Here's what I saw. What Indian people do is what black people should do. Pakistan does it. Sri. Hello?
Yeah, it's still an echo on your end.
Oh, sorry about that. Hold on. Okay, so here's what Sri Lanka does and all these people do. What they do is they go and they read the cliff notes on a career. So Indians came over because when NAFTA happened, they took all that NAFTA money and went down there with those cars and those car companies in Pakistan and India. And that uplifted their culture. That uplifted those families. That's why I try to tell people on my channel, Black people need to get back to the family mindset and the son of the family is important mindset, because everybody else operates like that. So those families, even though that they were more poor than Americans, they were of the family mindset. So once they start getting some of that auto money, like go down there and work for the auto company, he would bring that money to his family, and then they would use that money to start studying. What can we get out there? And I saw when I was passing through Bangladesh, I saw like communities where they would just study medical records all day. The laws on medical records, how to process alpha numeric numbers, all that stuff.
Oh, wow.
Tech has happened the same way. A lot of Indians, they study certain parts of the book. They know black box, they know qubits, but they don't know all of computing. So how we compete with that, we need to, once again, kind of like what Sub-Zero does now. Have you ever interviewed Sub-Zero?
Yeah. I had him on there a couple times. I need to get him back on.
Okay. So just like what Sub-Zero does, where he reaches back out to his people and says, hey, look, this is what you need to know. And you need to know it so well that you're better than the mayonnaise people. And for those people who are laughing when I say mayonnaise people, the ladies at YouTube, they get real upset when you use the word WHITE. So I try to say mayonnaise people. But nevertheless, because they sat up here. One of my videos, I had a friend. She was a Caucasian chick with a big butt, but she was wearing a one piece. And they flagged my video and gave me a termination letter. And I'm like, wait a minute, you flagged me for a woman in a one piece. I guess she was showing too much meat. But you sat up here and flagged me for that, and you got a song called Booty, 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 showing black women just clapping everywhere. And that got like 31 million views, and they didn't want to hear it.
Wow.
Yeah, so but anyway, my whole point was to try to give back, man. And Dynas, I wanted to connect with you. Here's a question for you, Dynas, before we get out of here, though.
Go ahead, brother.
In your assessment, what can these brothers do to get some power at their job, no matter where they're at?
I'm to the point now. You have to create your own job.
There you go.
I mean, that's
but you know what?
I mean,
that's only for the people.
I would say this: when you get into your role, just outperform everybody, and then put other brothers, give other brothers opportunity. That's really what it's about. You have to outperform everybody. All right, and then when you're the obvious choice, and you're in a position of power, then you look out for people like yourself.
And I think building people up underneath you.
That too.
Even if you have your own company or you a worker, stop being happy with being a worker is what I say. Stop being happy with just punching in. Be somebody's manager. People like, the hourly guy make more than the manager. Yeah, but the manager get to go home early. The manager get to do half a day and still get a salary check every month. If you got, I've been a manager, man. I used to go to work and literally go to sleep for 6 hours because the system. No, I ain't lie. I used to work down at when I first got to Atlanta. I used to work out down at the America Trade Building down there that does it's on Peachtree.
Okay. Peachtree and what?
It's where Hard Rock Cafe is.
Okay, that's downtown.
Yeah, and there's an America's Mart. is what it's called.
Okay. Oh, America's Mart. Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about.
And I was project manager there when I first got there. And because I was quick to think on my feet, and I always came up with a system. And this was before I got the cell phone job. But I used to create my system with my employees, because I have like maybe 13, 15 employees. And I used to create a system to where every 2 hours they doing something different, Dynas. So they never got complacent, right? And one day this lady said, she said, "Why do you always come here and go to sleep in the tower?" I said, "Because I offer you protection." She said, "What do you mean by that?" I said, when these white folks come down and they look at y'all and they want to write you up, they want to fire you, I go out of my way to put some words in their ear that protect you. Like, for example, you was on that phone the other day. VP walked by, president walked by. They said something about it. And what I said to them was, "Oh, sir, she's probably just contacting somebody in her family. That is the most diligent person here. Even when everybody else is gone, she will sit and do a double shift to cover somebody." And she does. And then when I told her that, she started cheesing. I said, "And that's why I sleep upstairs and fall asleep." People always say to me, "Q, how do you work 2 jobs and have a business?" Because I pick stuff that relates to my power. I don't pick stuff for the extra 25 cents, for the extra $5. I don't pick jobs just because of the money.
Right.
I pick jobs that give me money, that allow me to do other things. I would do YouTube more if YouTube paid me as much as I make. But I do YouTube for the love. Even my Patreon now, because I have a lot of people that I counsel now. Even my Patreon blew up. So I get stuff from there monthly too. So it's like, I try to do it like that. Like a lot of times when I do these videos, I'll be at work. I'll be at work trying to stay awake. That's how you got, or be like you, Dynas, and just create my own lane, man. That's what I got to do.
You have to. But Q, how can people reach you?
I just want to help the people, Dynas. That's my
go ahead and finish. Go ahead and close out and tell everybody how they can reach you.
Oh yeah, you can check me out several ways. I just put another Facebook back up. You can check out the YouTube Mr. Research Facebook group. I also have something I'm doing for the ladies, because a couple of ladies encouraged me to do the Ask a Classy Brother thing. So just type in Ask a Classy Brother. It's on Facebook. It's on YouTube. And then on YouTube, you just catch me on Wolf, WOHF. And it's just teaching dudes how to have a more powerful lifestyle where they're not walking around mad at females all day. I feel like if you're wasting your time talking about females and dating, then you're kind of ignoring the fact that you can have a second house by now.
Right.
You can be hiring other brothers. There's just too much stuff you can be doing than to be, talking about females all day. That's just how I look at it.
Absolutely. Brother, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir.
No problem. We have to do this at least once a week. Everyone, thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you go to search for Huru on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and Facebook. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Once again, search for Huru. Until next time, family. Peace.
Peace out.